All right, so NotebookLM.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of buzz about it early on. And a lot of people were really excited about this, but now it seems like, I don't know, are people hitting a wall?
Yeah, there's definitely some frustration out there. And this opinion piece we're looking at, NotebookLM, Paywalls, and Unfulfilled Potential, really sums it all up, I think.
Yeah, and this is like we've all been following this, right?
Right.
NotebookLM, this AI tool. And there were so many hopes for it. And now a lot of folks are saying, wait a minute, what happened?
Yeah, it's a valid question to ask. And one of the biggest points of contention seems to be this new paywall.
Yeah, the paywall. I mean, what's the deal with that? Like, we were all excited to jump in, and now suddenly it's NotebookLM Plus. What does that even mean?
Right. Well, that's one of the things that the author digs into, right? Like, is it really justified just slapping a plus on the name and then putting it behind a paywall?
Yeah. I mean, where are all the, quote, plus features?
Yeah. Right, exactly. It's not like they've, suddenly rolled out a whole bunch of new bills and whistles to justify that extra cost. But there is this thing called bundling that we have to consider here.
Bundling? Okay, so help me understand that a little bit.
So think of it, I don't know if you remember cable TV packages, back in the day.
Yeah.
You got, hundreds of channels, but you only really watch like 5 of them.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So this is that's bundling, right? And that's what's happening with NotebookLM Plus. It's part of this larger package deal they're calling Google One AI Premium, which also includes, things like Gemini Advanced. So they're kind of packaging it all together. Okay,
so you're paying for a whole bunch of stuff you may or may not even use just to get that one thing that you really want.
Exactly. And the author actually brings up a really good point about this. Google's calling this whole thing a deal.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. A deal. But you add up the individual costs of all these services, and it's practically the same price.
Exactly. So is it really a deal? Or are they just trying to make it, harder to get that one specific tool that we want?
Right. And that kind of leads to the author's bigger point here, which I think is really important. Are they, I hate to say it, but are they kind of prioritizing profits over functionality?
Yeah, that's a really important question. And, the author was really hoping that NotebookLM would be this valuable standalone tool. But it seems like, the focus has shifted to the bottom line.
Yeah. And that, I think, we have to think about the implications of this. What does it mean for us, the users, if access to these AI tools is increasingly tied to these expensive bundles?
Yeah.
Especially as they become essential for research and learning.
Yeah. I mean, that's something I hadn't even really thought about until I read this article. How is this going to impact our ability to learn and do research if all these things are getting locked behind paywalls and bundled into packages that we can't afford or don't even want? And the other piece of that is the author talks about this unfulfilled potential. We haven't even seen what NotebookLM could truly become if it wasn't, being held back by these financial constraints.
Exactly. Yeah. So to sum it all up, the author is basically saying this paywall is a big barrier. This whole bundling thing feels very forced.
Yeah.
And there's this worry that NotebookLM is not going to reach its full potential because of all these financial constraints.
Yeah.
And I think they make a really compelling argument.
Yeah, I agree. And, reading this, it really gets you thinking, could there be a different model, a different way of doing this that would make these powerful tools like NotebookLM more accessible to everybody while still, being sustainable for the developers?
There's got to be some other way, right?
Right. Maybe a tiered system or some open source options, strike a balance between accessibility and profitability.
Yeah.
That's something to think about, as we navigate this whole evolving world of AI.
Yeah. Definitely something to ponder. Food for thought, for sure.
Absolutely.
Thanks for breaking it all down.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a conversation that we're all going to be having.
Oh, absolutely. For a while.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thanks again. And we'll see you next time.